In 1868, it was the dawn of a new era for Japan. We call this the Meiji era. From the Meiji era, Japan began to modernize and establish a new strong foundation for the country. How did Japan succeed at such rapid modernization? In this film, we will take a close look at how modernization occurred, specifically in the Tohoku area in Akita prefecture. Akita prefecture is located next to the Sea of Japan in the northwest of the Tohoku region. Full of alluring and grandiose nature, Akita is famous for being a top rice-producing region within Japan, with a vigorous agricultural industry. Let's take a look into the modernization and agricultural development of Akita. We begin with the history of the Semboku Plains, located slightly south of inland Akita. The Semboku Plains are now a prominent agricultural region, but the agricultural development in place today is the fruit of the region's predecessors' labor. How was this land reclaimed? The Semboku Plains have a long history of land reclamation. Contributing to this, a canal reclamation project which has continued through the ages, using water from the bountiful Tama River. The Tazawa Canal was completed in the Edo era, between 1603 and 1867, but after suffering from frequent flooding, it was rendered practically unusable. Although reconstruction was planned several times, the canal was never fully recovered. Afterward, in 1930, another reclamation project was launched by the national government. Lake Tazawa was considered an important key to this project. Lake Tazawa, located north of the Semboku Plains, is the pride of Akita, representing the prefecture as the deepest lake in Japan. Even in the deep of the bitter winter, the lake surface never freezes. The lake was home to many endemic species, including a unique subspecies of sockeye salmon, named kunimasu. Fishery on the lake is long established. Between Lake Tazawa and nearby Mount Akita Komagatake flows the Tama River. With its abundance of water, the Tama River was long considered a useful resource for agriculture. However, this water was not fit to be used in its natural state. In the upper reaches of the river lies a hot spring which gushes with powerfully acidic water. If used as is, the water is perfectly splendid for bathing. But if drawn for agricultural use in the lower reaches of the river, cataclysmic damage to the crops and land would occur. Many attempts have been made to detoxify the water since the Edo era, but even after many long years, a solution was never fully discovered. Around the same time in the 1930s, a plan was set in motion to increase food production within Japan, which included diverting water from the Tama River to Lake Tazawa, as well as transforming the land into rice paddies. In 1937, the launch of the Tazawa Canal Public Land Reclamation Project was the first step towards this plan. A power plant, utilizing the water from Lake Tazawa, was also built in 1940 to make up for a lack of electricity supply. The power plant pulled the water from the upper reaches of Tama River into Lake Tazawa. After World War II, the reclamation continued in earnest, and construction was fully completed in 1963. The Tazawa Canal Public Land Reclamation Project had finally finished after 26 long years. The number of farmers operating at a large scale increased relative to other areas within the prefecture and the country, along with the production of rice. However, many species endemic to Lake Tazawa, including kunimasu, disappeared due to the sharp increase in acidity caused by the accumulation of the Tama River water. After much study and research, it was eventually discovered that, when exposed to water, limestone has a characteristic ability to weaken the water's level of acidity, leading to its use in a full-scale neutralization treatment starting in 1972. Later, in 1991, the Tama River Acidic Water Neutralization Plant began operation to provide a more permanent solution for a detoxification. Approximately 30 tons of limestone is used each day, and due to the excellent efficacy of the process, many fish and plants have returned to Tama River and Lake Tazawa, and soil oxidization in the lower reaches has been largely alleviated. The process used to neutralize the acidity of the water is called the granular lime neutralization method, which neutralizes acidic water from Tama River hot spring by diverting it into the neutralization reaction vessel filled with a large amount of granular limestone. The water quality of Lake Tazawa saw some improvement, increasing from a pH of 4.2 in 1970 to a pH of 5.5 by 2002. This improvement eased the soil acidification and reduced the acid damage to the riverine structures and power generation facilities, and allowed for increased production of rice. However, even today, the effective neutralization has not fully spread through the entirety of the lake due to its depth and the sheer amount of water. What's more, a fish thought to be extinct for the previous 70 years due to the progressive acidification of Lake Tazawa, kunimasu, was discovered once again. It was 10 years ago now, but it was found in one of the 5 Fuji lakes, Saiko Lake, in Yamanashi Prefecture. It's nothing but a miracle. Kunimasu had lived here in Lake Tazawa 80 years ago, in conditions like a depth of 40 meters, a cool 4 degrees Celsius, and a constant flow of fresh water from a spring. It turns out Saiko Lake had these same conditions. However, there is still much room for improvement in regard to the acidity of Lake Tazawa, as kunimasu still cannot sustainably thrive with the current level of acidity. The majority of fish seen today in Lake Tazawa are a variety which are tolerant of higher acid levels, such as Japanese dace. Thus, in the midst of facing a large number of poor harvests, as well as the Pacific War, the water conveyance of acidic water from Tama River into Lake Tazawa was realized as a public project for the purpose of increasing food production, generating electricity, and generally contributing to the region. Nowadays, the area is one of the most famous rice-producing regions in Japan, where golden stalks of rice cover the land during the harvest season. Contrarily, the graceful natural bounty of Lake Tazawa is lost. Aside from the treatment of Tama River water, other efforts are being made to recover the lake to its once graceful condition. As you can see, Lake Tazawa is such a beautiful lake. But unfortunately, the pH level is still around 5.2, which is still not suitable for kunimasu to live. Now, we're all working hard in many ways to conserve Lake Tazawa. And it's going to take many more years, and there's not much I can do myself. But I would still like to contribute somehow. Additionally, a new project has begun to provide another new energy source by utilizing the Tama River hot spring water, which caused the increased acidity in Lake Tazawa. The Tohoku University Graduate School of Environmental Studies has succeeded in producing hydrogen from Tama River hot spring water, and is working in conjunction with Semboku City on using hydrogen energy for regional development truly by and for the locals. Despite the great success seen as a result of national policy, it should never be forgotten that it came at the expense of the precious local nature. Local residents remain hard at work in searching for new methods to restore Lake Tazawa to its full glory.